All right, dudettes. I'm not sure how it's yanging with y'all, but my name is Sean, and I guess let's just rip this Band-Aid off, right? So Yang endorsed Joe Biden, and I was brought this news, and I decided to wait a day or so to process it for myself and to see how the Yang Gang was taking it. So before I play the clip, I just want you all to know that I have always been open and honest with you all. After this clip, I will continue that. So here it goes.
Andrew Yang, I see you've been writing on your paper a lot. We haven't heard from you a little bit. You haven't. Where do you see the race right now? Where do you see this going for Joe Biden?
I believe that Joe Biden will be the Democratic nominee. And I've always said I'm going to support whoever the nominee is. So I hereby am endorsing Joe Biden to be not just the nominee for the Democratic Party, but the next president of the United States. And I say this having supported Bernie Sanders in 2016. Bernie was an inspiration for me, inspired my run. But the math says Joe is our prohibitive nominee. We need to bring the party together. We need to start working on defeating Donald Trump in the fall. I've had many personal conversations with Joe about the impact of the fourth industrial revolution on the middle class. I believe that he's the right man for the job to help us not just defeat Donald Trump, but govern the country in the years ahead.
And the question is, I guess I have for you, is what does he need to do to bring the Yang Gang and the Sanders folks to him?
And what do you say to your supporters who might support Sanders still?
What I'd say is that we need to start doing the work of improving Americans' lives on the ground, because too many Americans have seen their way of life disintegrate over the last number of years. And Bernie has been calling out those problems and tapping into the frustration in the right way. And so if Joe says this is going to be returned to business as usual, he's in danger of losing many of the young people that came out for Bernie that supported my campaign. He has to show that, look, we know that this economy is not working for many, many Americans, millions of Americans who feel left behind. And you can't just say we're going to swing the pendulum back to the Obama-Biden years. We have to actually start doing the work that activated people to vote for Donald Trump, that activated people to get out for Bernie Sanders. I believe Joe is open to that message. His heart's in the right place. He's a really, really patriotic public servant, decent man. He wants to do right by the American people. To me, a lot of it's about getting real solutions in place that more and more Americans feel like will actually improve their day-to-day lives.
Have you had conversations with the Biden campaign about an endorsement?
I have. Joe called me last week. We had a really great conversation, and it was hard to say no to Joe at that time, but I have such admiration and respect for Bernie, what he's meant to so many Americans. I think Bernie has called out the real problems in a very powerful and necessary way. So I wanted to let the democratic process play out, and I believe it has. At this point, you can see very clearly that Biden is building a delegate lead that's only going to grow in the days ahead. And so we need to come together as a party starting tonight.
What would you say to Sanders supporters who, obviously are going to be unhappy if Sanders drops out of the race? For you, as it is, as Senator Sanders has said himself, defeating Donald Trump trumps all of that.
I would say I get it. And that I believe that Joe gets it too, even though you might not feel that in the same way. I get the frustration. I get the desire for a revolution. I get the fact that it seems like our institutions are failing us right and left. I get all of that. It's why I ran. But we have to defeat Donald Trump in order to make progress on the climate, on any of these problems in a bigger way. And you have to believe that Bernie and Elizabeth and I and other people will have a voice in the Biden administration to start solving these problems.
All right, I'm not gonna lie, that was fucking hard to hear, man. And I don't like it. For the sake of nuance, though, let's look at this pragmatically, right? I mean, I at least owe you guys that much for those of you who still are infatuated with the gang, and those of you who are thinking of or already have left the gang, right? So this seems, I guess there has been two main camps, like I was kind of talking about, that have erected from this situation. So camp one consists of either, former Bernie bros and or former Trumpers who, I guess, joined the gang, right? Who are yanged by Yang's ideas, or those of us like this. So this is a large group who is very anti-establishment. And this camp is pissed, right? And rightfully so. The downside of this group is, there is a downside, and I mean, I guess it's reacting based on emotion rather than objectivity. Not that they're wrong in any way, or forgetting the foundation of Yang's movement, allowing themselves to be blindsided by a bad move. and make no mistake, it is a bad move, guys. So I guess Camp 2 consists of hardcore, die-hard Yang gang, many who were likely first-time voters of Yang, who only like Yang or only going to vote for Yang no matter what. Yang is their only candidate they'll ever vote for. Who see this as a bad idea, but no matter what, they're still going to vote Yang. These people will follow him no matter what. Primarily for his ideas and what he brings to the table, despite stuff like this, right? Now, there is another group accompanying this camp, and those are the blind loyalists who make excuses for this decision. I guess Yang apologists, if you will, right? And that camp is, the downsides of that camp is obvious too. Like, this is a shit decision. It really is. All right, so this is the part that I've been thinking about for a long time. What is my opinion? What camp does Sean fall into, right? I think the answer is sort of, I guess, I'm not sure really how to say it. I think the answer to sorting out the right line of thinking from this epic fail on Yang's part lies somewhere in the middle of both camps. Maybe like a third camp. I don't know. You see, I don't, have fluff. I don't have to fluff my opinion. I don't have any fluff for you guys. And I don't have to keep you guys favorable of Yang because my views depend on it or anything like that. This channel has been demonetized. I've always been truthful with you from the beginning. And this is really Yang's first huge hiccup that there really is no justifiable excuse for. So, maybe I can reapply for monetization in April. But with Yang, I'm not really sure how this is all going. So I'm not really sure. I don't really know how to put it into words right now, guys. I guess we'll just see what happens in April, because I still am a huge supporter of UBI. But let me just get back to what I was trying to say. So really, I have no incentive to really pretend, like this isn't a shit decision on Yang's part. People are right to be mad. Biden isn't the guaranteed nominee yet. If he is, then it's because of the same rigging and cheating that forced Yang out himself. And Yang is smart enough to know that. Biden also hasn't come out with full support of UBI whilst, Yang launches his Humanity Forward, which he helps prop up candidates that support UBI. Yet him as the figurehead of this new foundation seems to be endorsing the antithesis, of that. Joe Biden is, the anti-UBI candidate. He doesn't want that. So people are right to say that you kind of are a sellout, even if that is a clouded jump to conclusion. You really can't blame them, and it's not just about endorsing Bernie. I don't like Bernie, but I'd rather him or Trump, than any other sort of Obama or Clinton establishment candidate, because all of those people are just as bad as Trump. They just don't know how to hide it, right? You know what I'm saying? And at least Bernie is open about his ideas and somewhat consistent. But at least, it seems to me like at least giving Biden's endorsement this early, before Bernie really has a chance to lay his stake with the delegates and stuff like that, it seems suspect, and it looks like an establishment thing to do, right? Now, on the other hand, Yang has said he would endorse the nominee. He signed a DNC agreement that stated each candidate would unify around the nominee, and he is a man of his word. He's, a guy who signs the agreement. He's not going to sit there and rail on emotional stuff, right? He has said he endorsed Bernie before. You've seen his own reasoning, right? And furthermore, many of us, myself included, didn't join this movement for Yang's personal ideas or how his mouth, guides his own decisions, his own personal decisions, I guess I should say. We joined because of UBI, and UBI is here to stay, and it transcends anything Yang does now. Even boneheaded moves like this. UBI is for sure here to stay. Also, one could say that Yang may feel like doing this helps him, helps him get into, like, I guess, quote unquote, the club, and helps his chances in 2024 or maybe a New York run for mayor, in 2021. I would argue, while that's kind of an understandable thing to do from a pragmatic, non-ethical standpoint, if you don't have any ethics, right? Join the corrupt club, and hopefully that will get you, in so you can actually do your ideas, right? For next time around. But Bernie did the same thing when he backed Hillary. When he endorsed Hillary, he always fought against corruption, and then all of a sudden he endorsed Hillary in the hopes of the establishment would, garner favor for him. And see him as maybe a viable candidate next time, or say, hey, you do kind of, you're not complete anti-establishment, you do kind of help, a little bit, so maybe we'll let you in next time. We see that you play ball, but that didn't really happen. You know what I mean? Like you've seen what happened now. They're still cheating Bernie out. So, but look, I'd also say that Bernie didn't join CNN, so Yang did. That kind of adds a variable, with an unknown consequences, even if, I don't know. So I guess if I'm hopeful about this all, I'd say that it's extreme 4D chess, and he just underestimated the consequences of his base of support and how they would react, right? At worst, hey, at least he brought UBI into the mainstream. Maybe he canceled himself. I don't know. This is still really an ongoing development. A lot of people are just kind of couching it and making it seem like it's not that big of a deal, but Yang, whether he admits it or not, he ran as an anti-establishment candidate. He was an anti-establishment candidate. He had anti-establishment groundswell of support, and this just doesn't bode too well for him. Lucky for us, UBI is such a huge thing now that no matter what Yang does, UBI is here to stay. I myself have joined Humanity Forward, and I donate to them, and I still support UBI as, because you can keep two ideas in your head at the same time. You can say, okay, this is a really shit, even if Yang has his own reasoning for it, and whatever that may be, his own reasoning is his own reasoning, what he truly believes. I don't think what he said on CNN is 100% factual. I think that maybe he was kind of, elbowed into that way a little bit because now he is part of the club, and he understands that you can't be too anti-establishment when you're in the establishment, so you kind of have to play ball. Maybe he's picking his battles. I don't know. Whatever the excuses may be, they are just excuses. But at the end of the day, UBI means more to me than what Andrew Yang says. The idea of UBI isn't tethered to Andrew Yang, if that makes sense. And he has inspired me to support UBI and champion it, and I'm going to keep doing that regardless of if he, I'm not a cult of personality. Like, I love Yang and I love a vast majority of his ideas. This is kind of a boneheaded move, and I'll call that out. I like UBI more than I like Andrew Yang. You know what I mean? I think that's what a lot of people are understanding, is they're liking Andrew Yang more than the ideas he brings to the table, and we should be more about policies than about, So I don't know. It's such a hard thing, you know what I mean? And I'm not fully have my thoughts really surrounded it, but that's kind of what I'm thinking at this moment. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I haven't really been uploading on the second channel too much, but I'm trying to get back into that. I don't really want to know what I really want to do, guys. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just chime in with you guys every once in a while, and we'll kick the shit and we'll talk about it. I'm not sure if I'm able to still live stream because of monetization. If not, I don't know. I don't know, guys. But I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.